Welcome back to my PodLingo, Learn English channel. Today, I'm going to tell you an incredible true story. It is about a boy who had absolutely nothing, no money, no home, and no food. But he didn't give up. He walked for 2 years to reach his dream and eventually built the most famous luxury brand in the world, Louis Vuitton. The hard beginning. Let's go back to the year 1821. Louis Vuitton was born in a very small village in France called Anchay. His family was very poor. His father was a carpenter who made things out of wood, and his mother made hats. Their house was tiny, cold, and uncomfortable. Sadly, when Louis was only 10 years old, his mother passed away. Things got worse after that. Louis felt alone, and he didn't want to live in poverty forever. So, at the age of 13, he made a crazy decision. He decided to walk to Paris. But Paris was 470 kilometers away. He had no money and no map. He just started walking. Can you imagine walking for 2 years? That is what Louis did. He slept in forests and on the streets. He was often hungry and cold. To survive, he did small jobs for strangers in exchange for food. He walked through storms and difficult weather, but he never turned back. When he finally arrived in Paris, it wasn't the paradise he imagined. The city was crowded and dirty. Louis was homeless and starving. On his first nights, he had to sleep in a wooden cart on the street. He tried to find work, but everyone said no because he looked poor and dirty. The big break. One day, everything changed. Louis saw a man struggling to carry a heavy wooden trunk into a shop. Louis ran to help him. The shop owner, Monsieur Maréchal, saw that Louis was strong and offered him a job. Louis didn't get paid at first, but he was happy to be indoors. He worked very hard. While other workers went home, Louis stayed late at night to practice. He learned how to handle wood and leather perfectly. Soon, he became the best craftsman in the shop. Wealthy people started asking for him by name. Then, something amazing happened. The Empress of France, Eugénie, needed a special trunk for her travels. She hired Louis. This was a huge honor. She wanted a trunk that was elegant but practical. At that time, trunks had round tops and were made of leather. This made them heavy and hard to stack on top of each other. Louis had a brilliant idea. He invented a trunk with a flat top made of canvas, a waterproof fabric, instead of leather. It was lighter, waterproof, and you could stack them easily. It was a revolution in travel. In 1854, Louis opened his own shop. He focused on the rich because they didn't care about the price. They only cared about quality. His business grew, but it wasn't always easy. A war destroyed his business at one point, and he almost lost everything. But when the war ended, people wanted to travel again, and his business exploded. Louis Vuitton died in 1892, but his story didn't end there. His son, Georges, took over. Georges was very smart. He realized that people were copying their bags, so he invented the famous LV monogram, the logo you see today, to stop the fakes. After Georges, his son, Gaston, took over. This was during difficult times, like World War II. It was a dark period, and the company had to do whatever it could to survive, which included working with the government during the war. Gaston also realized that travel was changing. People were using cars. In the 1970s and 80s, a man named Henry Racamire, the husband of Louis's great-granddaughter, joined the company. He changed the game. He opened luxury stores all over the world, like in Japan and the USA. He made the brand ultra-exclusive and expensive. He also helped create LVMH, a huge group that owns many luxury brands. Finally, in 1989, a businessman named Bernard Arnault took control. He turned Louis Vuitton into a financial monster.
Today, the company is worth billions of dollars, and it all started with a homeless boy who just wanted to make a good trunk. Think of Louis Vuitton like a strong tree. Louis was the seed that was planted in very hard, rocky soil. He had to fight just to break through the ground. His son and grandsons were the branches that spread out to cover the world. And today, we see the massive tree that represents success, wealth, and history. So next time you see an LV bag, remember, it didn't start with money. It started with a 13-year-old boy walking down a dirt road, refusing to give up. Thanks for watching.